Metallica hater listen to their first 4 albums for the first time. This title sounds so catastrophic. Let's clear this up immediately. First, I'm not a Metallica hater. There's no reason why I should hate a band just because I don't like their music. It's stupid. But you know, I couldn't write Metallica not enjoyer listen to their first 4 albums for the first time. It's too long, it's boring, it's not appealing. So this is the only thing my brain was able to come up with. So, Metallica, the most important and famous metal band in the world. My first encounter with Metallica was with this amazing album here. And I would like to point out that the amazing was obviously ironic. It was my friend's birthday. I was 14 years old and another friend says we have to get him the Metallica new album. And you know, living in a small town with no internet, the only metal thing you could find was actually Metallica. Poor guy. Imagine getting this album for your birthday. Actually, that day when we were listening to this album, we were thinking, it's not bad, you know, the songs are cool. If it wasn't that the song then gets so boring because they were so long for no reason. And that beautiful snare. All the time we thought that there was something wrong with the audio system of my friend and that something was broken. The richest metal band in the world with one of the worst production I ever heard. So that one though was my first and last encounter with Metallica, let's say, because that was the only album of Metallica that I ever listened to its fullness. And after that masterpiece I wasn't really, you know, tempted to listen to anything else. And it wasn't just for this album, but for many other reasons. For example, I hated that every time a normies wanted to talk with you, he was like, hey dude, I'm in metal myself, I listen to Metallica, yay! You suck, you still suck. And older people were even worse, they literally called you, hey Metallica! Now combine these things with also that horrible album and put on top of that every single band in the bigger town was a cover band of Metallica, you got why I wanted to hear less and less the name Metallica. So yeah, I didn't listen to Metallica albums, but I know a lot of their songs. I don't know this song from which albums they are. I know obviously Master of Puppets is from Master of Puppets, but for example Creeping Death, I don't know from which album it is. So I never listened to this called Metallica Masterpiece, the first 4 albums. Once my friend tried, he gave me all the 4 albums, huge fan of Metallica, and said, dude, you're gonna listen now all the albums and tell me what you think about. I tried with Kill 'Em All, I think I listened 2 or 3 songs and I was like, enough, you know. But here we are in 2025. This gentleman in front of you is 36 years old and he decided that it's moment to listen to this 4 masterpiece and see if I can redeem myself and actually like Metallica for the first time in my life. So let's start. Kill 'Em All, 1983, the first album of Metallica. First song, Hit the Light. Hit the Light is a good song. It's a classic 80s speed thrash metal song. It has great riffs, I like the energy. It's perfect as a starting track. I really enjoyed this one. Second track, The 4 Horsemen. This was actually a catchy track. If the first one sounded good, but it can also remind me of a lot of other, you know, speed thrash tracks, this one sounds more like a classic. I think, if I'm correct, this song is a classic. I think that I've seen it in some setlist. Really catchy main chorus, great riffs, and I've noticed just after this one how clear and audible, is that the word? I don't know, you figure it out, is the bass. It's also a long track, but didn't bother me at all. But I found out that from the ending solo on, that part there could have been easily cut it out. It makes the song longer for no reason. Motor Breath, third track. Here we are back on a more speed thrash territory, but it feels a little bit more punkish than Hit the Light, especially with the main chorus, but I'm not saying that in a bad way. Actually, it's good, and the song actually sounds pretty good. From this one I noticed also another thing, that I'm not really enjoying the solos. It can be because I listened to this track just once, you know, to do this video then, but they sounds pretty all the same. Jump in the Fire. I don't have too much to say about this track, honestly. Didn't really leave me anything, so that's all. Anesthesia Pulling Teeth. I couldn't understand if that is a long bass intro or is a guitar with a horrible distortion, but that's it about this track. I don't know why it's there, to be honest. I don't think there's anybody out there that is listening to this song. It literally sounds they are jamming and they have some space in the album, and they were like, hey, we have this filler, but who cares? Let's insert this track in the album. Nobody will notice. I noticed. You suck. Whiplash! If I'm correct, a band called Whiplash took the inspiration from this song, Metallica, to have this their name. I think this is a classic, I guess, I don't know, and sounded like a typical thrash metal song. You know, where the song at some point stop before the main chorus, the singer say one word like whiplash or like pleasure to kill from Creator, you know, and the song starts again. I can be influenced by the fact that it's a typical thing in thrash metal. Many bands have done that in the past. So it doesn't sound something new for me. Maybe it was new at the time, so didn't really let me anything, but again, you know, I've heard so many times this kind of patterns, so maybe I'm influenced by that. The solos really start to sound all the same. Beside that, it's okay track, definitely better though than the previous two. Phantom Lord, another speed thrash up tempo, but not too much to say honestly. I didn't find anything special in this track. No Remorse. This one didn't start really well, honestly. Same fucking solo as the previous songs. For the song in general, didn't really tell me anything special. Seek and Destroy. I didn't have any idea that this song was from their first album. I don't know why, but I have always And Justice for All cover in my head when I was thinking about this song. So I was surprised that was in the first album. I know this one very well. I don't think there's a cover band on Metallica that doesn't put this song in their fucking set list. I will try to think about this song like if I'm a new listener, if I didn't heard it thousands of times. And if I act like that, this is a great song. It's catchy, has a nice building before the main chorus, and the chorus is just great for singing along. I will give a thumb up to this one. Metal Militia, last song from the album. This one actually starts great. Love the riff, it's the toughest riff of the album. It's a simply but effective song. I like this one. I don't know why, but for some reason reminded me of Bonded by Blood by Exodus. I think it's a good ending song. And I would like to thank Kirk Hammett for the amazing solo again. I really needed to listen your same exact patterns over and over. Really appreciate that, man. Really appreciate. So, about this album. I liked 5 songs of this album out of 10. Considering that they were all in their 20s when they recorded this album. And this is their first album. I think for me it's a solid 7. The most boring part of this album were definitely the solos. Some tracks sounded just like fillers, but at that age, I'd already been able to write a couple of classics. That's huge things, so not bad at all. Second album, Ride the Lightning. Album released in 1984, just 1 year after Kill 'Em All. First song, Fight Fire with Fire. I'm pretty sure that I've heard that intro in some movies. I'm sure I've heard that I heard that intro so many times in different places. By the way, the first thing that I can notice in this album is the mixing. It's more defined, it's more powerful compared to the previous album. The Kirk Hammett solo is still a Kirk Hammett solo. It's a good track beside the solo. I enjoy it. Nice riffs, nice tempo, nice mixing. Ride the Lightning. It's a small thing, but the fact that the song starts with the thunder when the previous song finished, you know, so they're connected. It's a simple thing, but I don't know, I really enjoy it. It's so effective, you know. Also, the riff of this song is really nice, and the main chorus is really good. It's simple, but effective. If I'm correct, this is one of the band's classic. The solo is fine. It's a bit different than the other solos, but I can't stop thinking how the solo will have sound if someone else will have played, like someone like Gary Holt, for example, or Eric Peterson. For Whom the Bell Tolls. Is this the band's album with the majority of the classics? Because I feel like that all these first 3 songs are classics. I remember hearing the riff in some movies and in a lot of those cover bands that I told you before. And this is a great song. The riff is catchy as hell, the drum is groovy, the bass is nicely present, the vocals are catchy as fuck. This is a well done song. So we have 3 songs that I'm liking so far. This is a great start, guys. Considering that the album came out just 1 year after the previous one, this is a huge improvement in my opinion, in every aspect. Fade to Black. Many will probably hate me for what I'm going to say. Boring. I love ballads. This one here is a semi-ballads. But this one really didn't tell me anything. It's pretty boring, there's no particular thing to remember. Next. Trapped Under Ice. We're speeding up with this one. This one is a good track. Nothing particular, but is well played, up-tempo. I think if I re-listen to this one a couple of times more, I will probably enjoy it more. But for now, this is my quick review. Escape. The beginning riff is cool, the song is catchy, the main chorus sounded different from anything I've heard so far from Metallica. More heavy metal, I will say, and it's not a bad thing, it's always nice to hear something different. I enjoyed this one quite a lot, have to be honest. Creeping Death. I know this one, I've heard this song so many times, and I don't know what to say about this song. You know when you're bombarded with the same song over and over, and at some point you don't even understand anymore if you like it, or if you're just bored to hear that song again over and over. So the only thing I can say is, yeah, it's a good song, I can see why it's a classic, but I don't know if I like it or not, or if I hate it because I listened so many times. So let's say it's a good song, because I can see, you know, the structure, etc. It's a classic, it's a good song. The Call of Cthulhu, final and longest song of the album. And I didn't actually expect it to be an instrumental song. To be honest, nothing special and felt like a filler. No iconic riffs, the solo sucks hard, and that's all for 8 minutes. Anyways, this album was actually a surprise. Out of 8 songs, I didn't like just 2. And that's a huge improvement compared to Kill 'Em All, because in Kill 'Em All it was a 50-50. Also in terms of songwriting, this album is a step ahead compared to the previous one. You can hear how their sound already evolved and shaped. And for all those reasons, I think this one is a solid 8 out of 10. Master of Puppets 1986. I think this is the more famous one. I've heard so many times about Master of Puppets, and I finally listened to it. Let's see what I think about it. We start with Battery. A calm intro with an acoustic guitar opens the track. As soon as the electric guitar hits, I can hear something immediately. And that's that the mixing and mastering is even better than the previous album. It's just like a step further all the time, you know? There's already an improvement in the songwriting again, especially the singing is more cohesive. I don't know if it's the right word, but you're smart and you understand what I'm saying. Lars' drumming actually feels to me more technical. Kirk Hammett isn't that bad in this one, at least the first solo, then he started to overuse the whammy pedal and yeah, we got Kirk Hammett. Jokes aside, the song isn't bad, sounds different, and I actually enjoy the solo. Good work, Kirk. Master of Puppets. I heard this song so many times that I know this song. I know every single part of this song, from the drums, from the guitar, from the voice, everything. Imagine hearing something and know everything about it without ever liking it. Doesn't matter if you like Metallica or you don't like Metallica, if you like metal or you don't like metal, you have heard the riff. You have heard this riff or in a movie or somewhere. You have heard it. What I can say about this song, I can't listen to it anymore. It annoys me so much for the reason I told you before. It's a good song, yeah. It's a classic, yeah. It's such a well-written song. You know, being able to keep the listener attention for 8 minutes, that's a not easy task, and this song has so much things going on for those 8 minutes and everything blend perfectly. I can say that doesn't give me any emotion, but I can say that this is one of the most well-written metal song ever. The thing that should not be, I don't really like Metallica's clean intro. I don't know what of kind guitar they're using here, but it's the sound of it. It's the one that you can hear also, I think, in Enter Sandman. It's that type of Metallica clean sound that it annoys me so much. Anyways, there's a couple of cool riffs in this song, but beside that, the song is pretty boring, to be honest. For now, if I have to be honest, I am preferring much more the previous album. Welcome Home Sanitarium. It's a good song, but doesn't have anything that stands out compared to the previous 2. There's a riff on this song that reminds me so much of a song of Misfits, but I think that this album came before Misfits, so obviously they didn't copy it. Anyways, nothing in particular with this track. Disposable Heroes. I thought that this one was going to be another boring one because of the intro, but it's still boring. It's really a bland song. and I couldn't wait to finish it to just get to the next one. The main problem with this song is that it has a lot of long tracks. So if you don't like a track, it's really a torture. The only thing I enjoy in this one is the solo. Kirk Hammett has his patterns, we all know that at this point. Compared to the first album, solos, this is gold. Leper Messiah. At this point I'm starting to think, is the song Master of Puppets that sold this album? Because it's getting boring and more boring. It's full of generic riffs, there's no main chorus that makes you wanna sing along. I'm just like, how the hell this is their most famous album? Anyways, this song sucks. Sorry, I wanted to be honest and straightforward. The only good thing is that at least was short enough to not let me fall asleep. Orion. This one is interesting. Do you know how I know about this song? Before YouTube, there was a channel that was doing gaming stuff on the TV when I was a teenager. And every time they put like then the advertising part, ads, you know, there was this song playing over and over. And beside that memories that maybe can affect my judge about this song, I like this song. It's a good instrumental track and I really enjoy it. And I can say, finally! It took just 4 songs to get something nice to listen. Thank you so much. Damage Inc. Last song from the album. Thanks Satan. We are getting something faster at the level of battery. Fast. Good vocals. Nothing special, but it's okay. The solo makes me wanna go on Instagram, write to Kirk Hammett, and write something like, how the hell man you didn't get bored to play the same shit for 3 albums? God. So when this song finished, I had the same thoughts that I had before. How the hell this album here is considered a classic? It's one of the most boring albums that I ever heard. I basically enjoyed just 3 songs of this album. For my personal taste, I can't give more than 4 to this album. And I know that a lot of people would probably disagree on that, but hell was a torture. Last album, And Justice for All, 1988. This is the first album without Cliff Barton, replaced by Jason Newsted. I know that with this album they purposely made his bass not existing. And if someone knows the real deal why they did that, please explain me in the comment section. Because I've read different things and all sounds bullshit because they didn't want to say the truth. You know, the guitar, the mid-tone didn't fit with the bass, so we said Lars wanted the double pedal be so high pitched, so the bass needed to... Sounded all like bullshit, you know. Anyways, first track, Blackened. This is a good track to start the album with. This thing that obviously everybody out there have heard is how missed the bass is. It's so missed that it's kinda annoying to listen to this song. I can hear also some more melodies in some part in this song. I won't annoy you with Kirk solos again, I promise. It's a good track. It's a good starting track. And Justice for All. Clean intro. Thanks, it doesn't have the Metallica clean sound. Really appreciate that. I can hear some heavy metal influences in the solo parts in the song with the guitars. It takes a little bit for the track to start without having anything interesting in particular. I've noticed how the kick is really high-pitched. I think that's what Lars wanted. But anyways, the track is pretty boring. All this stop and go with the drums, no interesting riffs. Boring! 10 minutes of boringness. Eye of the Beholder. I don't know if it's the mix or is the fact that we don't have the bass, but it sounds like a band that pretends to be Metallica. I don't know how much stuff Cliff Barton used to wrote, but I kind of feel his absence in this album. And these 2 songs are one of the worst I ever listened from Metallica. 1. A ballad. If I wasn't already falling asleep. This is a classic, right? And I don't want to sound constantly bad and negative, but I have to be honest, and this track is just pure boringness. The Shortest Straw. I can't get over the fact how the songs sound so empty without the bass. I know that they even do a remaster or something, and James Hetfield says something like, no, you know, it's a product of time, you know, so it's better to keep it how it is. We already have the version without the fucking bass. Do a remaster with the fucking bass. Everybody wants to hear that bass. This is anyways a up-tempo track with no significant riffs and doesn't excite me in any possible way. And here's the point where I really started to struggle. I don't hear the genius of riffs of like Master of Puppets or the Four Horsemen. This is starting to be so bland. For the last 4 tracks I decided to do something. I didn't want to talk of each track because they are all bad. They are all so bad. It's literally a party of generic riffs, boring parts, boring drum patterns, boring vocals. Holy shit, this album is terrible. I don't know how people see this album in their discography, but damn man, this album here makes me rethink about Stig Enger. You know, I understand that 2 years before they lost a longtime friend, I can imagine how hard it was, you know, to continue with a new person, you know, and a new album. So I think this is a product of that moment, a struggle of the moment. I can't really find anything interesting about this album. The only song I enjoyed is Blackened. And for me, for my personal taste, I can give to this album more than 3 out of 10. This is much worse than Master of Puppets. And it's so bad that makes me rethink about Master of Puppets, and maybe that album there deserved a 5 out of 10. So listening to these 4 albums make me understand a couple of things. The first one is that I still don't understand how it's possible that they're the biggest metal band in the world. There's so many amazing, better thrash metal bands out there that release much better albums in the 80s. I can think about Bonded by Blood by Exodus. Show No Mercy from Slayer came out in 1983. Raining Blood in 1986. Dark Angel released We Have Arrived in 1985. And you know, I can continue for a while. I don't know if it's a mix of being in the right place, in the right moment, with the right producer, with the right label. I don't know, I think it's a mix of factors. They definitely have some hits, and this is probably what makes them sell. I think about Master of Puppets, for example. You know, at the time, it wasn't like this, like you go on internet, you listen to the full album, and then maybe decide to buy it or not. You listen Master of Puppets on the TV, on the radio, and you were like, I'm gonna buy this album because I want to listen to this song over and over. So it was much more easier for them having bad songs in the album when you have a couple of hits that would make sell that album. The second thing that I understood listening for those 4 albums is that they actually have a couple of solid albums. I think that Kill 'Em All, for being their first album, for the age they have when they recorded, that's a solid album. And Ride the Lightning, in my opinion, is their masterpiece at this point. It's really a solid album, full of good songs. It's like how it was 8 songs out of 10 that I enjoy. That's definitely a great album. Really a great album. This obviously is my opinion based to one time listen to each album, you know. Let me know what you think. With that said, thanks for watching guys, and as always I will see you all in the next video. Cheers!
Satan.